Tonight, we're going to take you to different cities in the world that are miles apart, but they're all facing a common challenge, the same challenge, extreme weather conditions. We're starting with the United States. It is turning into Siberia. Look at these images. The US is set to witness record-breaking cold over the next 5 to 7 days. An Arctic blast is to be blamed, a blast which will bring freezing temperatures to roughly 70% of the United States. This Arctic blast is going to break records. As many as 300 temperature-related records will be broken in the next week. Air travel has already been severely affected. In fact, an aeroplane slid off the runway at the Chicago O'Hare International Airport after its landing gear snapped. More than 500 flights in and out of the airport have been cancelled. 6 inches of snowfall has blanketed Chicago's roads. Temperatures are expected to fall as low as -6 degrees Celsius, which is 7 degrees lower than the previous record. The mercury will dip below freezing as far south as the Texas Gulf Coast. And as America transforms into Siberia, Sydney in Australia is being compared to a furnace. Bushfires in Australia have left 3 people dead and displaced thousands over the weekend, fanned by an unprecedented combination of high temperatures and strong winds. The blazes are raging across a vast area of Australia's Gulf Coast. And Sydney is among the cities facing what is being called a catastrophic fire danger. These fire ratings, by the way, were introduced about 10 years ago, and this one, catastrophic fire danger, is the most severe. And this is the first time that Sydney finds itself in this category. Officials were responding to more than a dozen emergency warnings in New South Wales, with more than 85 fires reported across the state. Australian authorities have been using aerial firefighting measures to douse these flames. An aircraft was diverted to drop fire retardants. This is to tackle bushfires threatening homes in Sydney's northern suburbs. Residents in high-risk areas have been asked to evacuate. Nearly 500 schools have been shut here. The fire is expected to worsen due to the adverse wind conditions. The winds are basically fanning these flames.
Enormity of the task to bring these fires properly under control, to consolidate them, to get around them and mop them up is enormous. And given the forecast for very high and likely severe conditions ahead as we head into this weekend, and another really hot burst of air coming through New South Wales on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, we simply aren't going to get the upper hand on all of these fires.
Australia has grappled with a series of wildfires in the recent past. The deadliest in Australia's history was recorded in 2009 when 173 people were killed. But this year's wildfires also stand out for another reason. Miles away, there is an Indian connection to the Australian blaze. An expert now says that the bushfires in Australia have been caused partly due to the monsoon season ending late in India. Can you believe that? Trent Penham, who's associated with the University of Melbourne, says the winds that leave from India after the country's monsoon period ends move south. But a delay in the winds reaching the Australian eastern coast while temperatures soared meant that the conditions were ripe for fires to erupt. Clearly, the global systems are all linked and they're all under stress. And this is all the more reason why countries need to join hands to fight the climate crisis. And while G20 nations have been focusing on multiple issues, this one needs primary attention. Extreme weather events have killed nearly 16,000 people and caused economic losses of $142 billion in G20 nations between 1998 and 2017, and India has registered the highest number of deaths among them. These are the findings of the latest report that is set alarm bells ringing across the world. This is the Brown to Green Report 2019 by Climate Transparency. There's another finding here that stands out. India is the only country among the G20 nations that is close to limiting temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius instead of 3 degrees, going by the climate action goals. The report also says that India needs to act now to prepare different sectors to reduce emissions. But the more immediate threat facing India is its toxic air, with the national capital being compared to a gas chamber once again, and air quality reaching the severe category.